Hi, welcome to this week's Tweak. I'm Tommy Larkin, and today we look at the proper foot and leg placement in lunge, or you may know it as the pose honoring the sun, Anjana, known as Anjaneyasana. Welcome back, and thank you for joining me today. So in order to have a better depth and growth in your standing poses, particularly ones like crescent pose, warrior one, warrior two, triangle, and side angle, really that's all of them, getting the foot placement to start with is probably the most important element. This begins with understanding the placement of the feet and learning the proper distance between them. The ideal view of lunge is having the front knee in line over the ankle and the back heel in line over the bent toes. Now, this may seem pretty easy, but the ideal we are seeking in our position is to have also the front leg femur bone parallel to the floor, the hands on the ground, and the back leg lifting towards the ceiling. Now, when I say ideal, it is just a destination. Your body may or may not be flexible enough to set this final position. If this is the case, then you will want to use blocks under your hands. And it's also better to lift the torso or straighten the front leg a bit than it is to shorten the distance between the feet. Off the bat, that's probably the most important thing to understand here. So let me say it again. It is better to make minor adjustments in the pose without changing the distance between the feet. Now, this also applies to all those standing poses I mentioned just before. When you shorten the distance between your feet, you actually decrease some of the benefits that you would receive from any of these poses. Now, one caveat to that is with lunges, if you were doing a calisthenic gym style lunge, we would have a shorter stance, mostly because we would be doing a sort of squat movement focused primarily on strength building. It'd be more like this, going up and down, right? But from a more yoga standpoint, we are using the posture to build both more stretch or flexibility and strength in the legs, core, and feet. So let's look at the pose and do a simple 4-point movement to help understand some of the benefits Anjaneyasana provides. So come to your mat, and let me put my, it's actually my mouse off to the side. And in case you need it, have 2 blocks. Cans, large cans can work. Books can work. There's all sorts of ways you can use. You can even use a chair seat or chairs on either side of you if you needed to. I'm going to have them here just for demonstration purposes. And it doesn't matter which leg you start with first. They're both going to work the same. I'm going to demonstrate so you can see this left side and we can look at the femur bone. So the first thing you want to do is make sure the knee, and that's the center knuckle of the knee, is in line over the center ankle. So if you had a mirror you could use to your side, that's been helpful that I've given to other students over the years. It helped me in a gym that I worked in just to see what my poses look like, and I highly recommend that. But not as part of the regular practice. Just kind of get the benchmark, get where you are, or set the pose and then look in the mirror and see, did I get it where I wanted to? Now the back leg needs to be far enough that the heel, give or take a smidge, is in line over the base of the toe bed, right? So that the back heel, the sole of the foot would be able to be flat or relatively close to flat over the against a wall. And then from here, I'm going to grab the blocks just for purposes of showing here. It makes it easier. This line is the femur bone. So it runs from the knuckle to the hip. It's not the top of the thigh. The top of the thigh makes the hips get too low, and then you have to really overwork to lift that back leg. What we're seeking is to have that middle line parallel to the ground, and then an extension through the back leg and lift that back thigh towards the ceiling. Right? Now you may be here. That's perfectly fine to be here. I'll tell you, one of my former teachers, we used to do lunge a lot as a preparatory position for down dog and all the standing poses, obviously, and we would hold this pose for a long time doing the work. So the gazing point is just right at the ground, and eventually you may be able to bring the blocks down or bring them down even more, eventually to your fingertips. And even for me, in my flexibility, it's more from my shoulders. Bringing my hands down kind of collapses my chest a little bit. So for today's illustration, I'm going to be here on the blocks just so you can see with more ease. Now these 4 movements are a curl of the belly into the back of the spine like you're doing a cat curling. And then you're going to have a opening in the chest into a cow position. So we have cat, and you'll notice my knee is not going back very far. It may move a little bit because of the movement in the belly, but I'm really grounding into the feet, and then I'm going to exhale, extend forward. Now as you do that, you curl in. That's the inhale. Now you go forward in the right shin and knee. You press back through that left heel. Those two, or in this case the right heel, the back heel. Those two balance each other, right? And you inhale, coil in. And then you're going to exhale, extend. You go forward, back, and then the front leg hip goes towards the floor and the back leg thigh moves towards the sky. So inhale, you coil in. And you exhale, forward, back, down, and up. Look forward as you do so you can open that chest. Inhale, coil in. Exhale, forward, back, down, and up. Open the chest, pull that belly into the spine. Don't lose the cat. One more time. Inhale, coil in. Exhale, forward, back, down, up, extend. Good. To come out of this, I recommend lowering the knee, stepping back with the foot, and then coming up to standing. It just makes that back leg have a little less tension. If you like, you can always step forward and come up to standing. And there you go. So I recommend both sides do 2 to 3 times of that. Actually 3 to 5 really is best in that cat-cow of the forward, back, down, and up action. And it's a really great preparation after you've done some Surya Namaskar A's or some other little warm-up just to get the body going, and then prepare yourself with lunge for things like crescent pose and the standing poses where the back heel is on the ground. So there you go. I hope you'll gain great benefits from today's work. If you have any questions or thoughts about this tweak or any previous one, let me know. Put your question or thought in the comments of the specific tweak and I'll get back to you. Also, if you like today's tweak, I'd appreciate you hitting that like button below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Plus, check out our website and follow us on social media for other inspiration and great ways to enhance your vital energy. You'll find those links in the description below. As always, thank you so much for joining me today, and until next time, have an amazing week and be excellent to each other.